in a really bad position. You don't have an instant stun for the Lina throughout. The Light Strike array does take some time, and during that time, she's in a really bad position.
Yeah, you really don't want to snowball in the Lina. And Disruptor is going to be the last pick for London Conspiracy, and let's kind of see how NiP decide. Yeah, Jonas and Van has to be the clock. There's no way.
So everyone picking the heroes that we're expecting to. We are now down to an elimination match for London Conspiracy. They managed to get themselves into the playoffs, but it all comes down to this game 2. Ninjas and Pyjamas, one game up against London Conspiracy. And they do have their fabled Tiny Whisk combination with the Jonas and Fan Clockwork. A little bit of added spice there with the Limp Axe. Why do you think they went for the Axe here?
I think they actually want a dual lane, because Witch Doctor is one of the best heroes at going for the aggressive lanes. Like, if you put Limp plus the Witch Doctor in this bottom lane and leave Jonas and Fan on top with the Clockwork, because the Clockwork does pretty decently against the Spirit Breaker. Like, I think you actually outfarm the Spirit Breaker. On top of that, if the Spirit Breaker ever leaves, then the Clock can just kind of abuse farm. Plus the Axe and the Witch Doctor bottom lane, you get a lot of offensive potential. And at the same time, it's not a lane that can easily die because of the cast.
Right.
I think that's how I would do things anyways. Like, I would go dual lane, aggressive with Limp and the Witch Doctor, and just leave Jonas at top.
Alright, we'll see what happens here. They do have Seal Kid right now up the top lane. Jonas and Fan is going to be farming up top, so it looks like you're kind of well set up. I think you called it pretty much perfectly. Seal Kid may be just trying to secure this top rune. London Conspiracy, you can see what's happening with them. This is always the danger. Going in against a Tusk. His level 1 potential is quite high here with the Snowball, and sure enough, he's going to go in for Hanskin, grabbing both the Gyrocopter as well as Lina. They will be able to hit that stun, but already 3-man Avalanche ensures there is going to be no turnaround here. Oh, Glimpse back here. Level 1 Glimpse is going to be able to catch Limp, and that's going to be your first blood right there, as Limp is not going to be enough to get away. Unfortunately, his armor does eventually run out, and Thug, the perfect person to get that first blood, gets that extra first blood gold as well as the bounty rune. He's going to be in a very happy position in this middle lane.
And they managed to get both bounty runes. That's pretty game winning. As Skylark, if you notice at top as well, he manages to push out the wave by sending in the range creep first. And that's just because Jonas, he doesn't have a support to take the range creep initially.
Right.
And that's usually how that happens. If you're playing support against a really good offlaner, you have to cut off the wave and make sure the range creep attacks you first, so the creeps just kind of filter out normally.
As you can see, 3 different melees as well as the range creep all going to survive and push forward. Seal Kid knows what he has to do, though. He's got to reset this creep wave equilibrium. He's going to do that by pulling the hard camp. So this is still not ideal, though, because Skylark is not only going to clean up this wave, but also then move over to intercept this. Limp, though, is now going to be up here in this top lane up against the Spirit Breaker, and it looks like our Clockwork is going to head down to bottom.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to go for the lane swap. I think with Limp dying first and then getting the call level 1, they have to go for this. And the Axe
maybe not just yet. Skylark actually going to be pushed back by the Cogs. They're going to force him to use a charge in order to get out of the sticky situation he was in. So I like that fact that Jonas and Fan just sticking around for that little extra play. He's now burned every bit of mana of this Spirit Breaker. Now he can rotate to bottom if necessary.
Goodbye, Space Scout friend, they say as he runs away, unable to do anything, and Jonas and Fan just continuing to kind of hunt him out as they want to secure this top rune. I don't know if a gank is possible. I mean, he's in the area and he's sort of in position, but they should have seen him coming as they are pinging out, and Hanskin is going for this top rune right now, and the Spirit Breaker should not be able to contest this.
So instead, London Conspiracy just going to make sure they get the bottom rune, which is a haste. We picked up our Wisp already with the bottle, is going to be able to find a bounty rune. Aaron's getting a decent amount of farm, 11 and farm compared to Lina. They're actually going to go for the Lina. He managed the avalanche. It's back into Jonas and Fan with Cogs. Beautiful setup with the alley-oop, but it's still not enough damage. Jonas and Fan takes a tougher hit. Close enough to finish him off. Era cuts his way through the Cogs. The rocket's still not enough, and now Spartan comes in, seeing he can't get some vengeance for his ally. Hanskin dropping low, but still not enough as Kaz comes in to be able to save him. Last nuke brings Aaron low, but not low enough. London Conspiracy survived, but unable to get a counter kill.
Yeah, it was a really nice setup by NiP going for that, but the Lina is just a little bit too tanky, and I mean, that's only a level 1 Clockwork, so the likelihood of that gank being able to be successful is a little bit low. Like, if he had the battery assault, I could see that working, but just a little bit too overeager, and more time is wasted as Madara just continues to free farm into this bottom lane.
Yeah, he's aggressively pushing down this tower because they know they do not have an offlaner at all. So they are taking the advantage by being able to push down the tower nice and early and not feeding any unnecessary experience to a pesky offlaner. JoinDOTA is now going to try and collect some of that experience that is being pushed into his tower by TPing into the tier 2, but damage is kind of already done. Decent chunk taken away from that tier 1.
Yeah, and this Tiny Wisp combination is doing okay right now. As the Lina, she's not dying, and that's the most important thing, is if you're playing against this combination, just try not to get initiated on, as Era just throws down an Aaron toss because he wants to get rid of some mana before the tether. And here we go, gets immediately to full, and that's all Lina has to do, and she's doing a good job of that right now, because if you are against a dual lane, this is a decently hefty commitment from NiP.
Yeah, and Tiny's so naturally tanky that even while the Wisp is gone, a single support rotation seems unlikely to be able to catch out Aaron unless they get a really good Icicle Charge block. Plus, they have the Spirit Breaker coming in from the side. It's going to be able to bump Seal Kid. Hits on Aaron. Well, actually, doesn't complete it, but they do hit the Light Striker right meanwhile the cat bounces around. They do get an Icicle Shards block, what will take away Hanskin and Era from being able to save their ally Seal Kid, who is left to die.
Yeah, and Seal Kid dying there is kind of the best option, but a good setup for London Conspiracy is that is the second kill right now for Thug, and he needs that because his CS is lacking, but getting 2 kills and the first blood should mean that he's in an okay position, as JoinDOTA is the target, but I don't know if they have the damage quite yet.
They got the glimpse, being able to pull back JoinDOTA the cogs, but he's kind of surrounded, that's why he cut straight down. Hoping to be able to stay away from Spartan.
He's
as
doing
well
the
as that
juke!
gyrocopter, oh my god, the juke goes out, but the Icicle Shards be able to lock him away, and oh no! Hanskin pushed up on top of the cliff! This is no bueno. Savant quickly eating his way through the trees, hoping to be able to dive himself the neutrals. He's successful, but Hanskin will end up going down. What an unfortunate Icicle Shards block, putting Hanskin on the suicidal cliff.
That was the best possible icicle that I could have imagined.
It really was.
I didn't even know that was going to happen, but it forces him up there, and what should have just been a single kill manages to be 2. Is Modara rotates as well for that, and Limp during that time does catch up in CS, and I think the one downside for LC is they do have to worry about Limp, is he does manage his, once he picks up a Blink Dagger, I think all he has to really do is go around the map and go for gank after gank, whereas Modara just wants to continue to farm, right? So it's going to be a little bit more of a 5-man game for NiP early.
What is the build for our axe, by the way? Is it just straight Blink Dagger, or to go for the Vanguard early on and delay that Blink Dagger slightly? If
you were stacking Ancients, or you had a hero that would do that for you, I think going for a Vanguard is a pretty good idea, but I think the build-up isn't ideal. Like, I would go for a Blink Dagger here because it would allow you to pressure that mid Lina so easily. Yeah. And I think that's what you want to do because she's been relatively untouched right now. And she's 2-0 20 CS in this mid lane on the first blood. By my estimate, she's ahead of schedule. Yeah, she certainly is. Era is not even picking up that much CS lead over the Lina at this point. 31-10, not a big deal when it's talking about a dual lane. Now, of course, he does have some major stacks to be able to go back to. Hanskin's the target here. Oh, managed to blow him up real quickly with the Laguna Blade. Once again, Spartan comes in, sets up his ally for a free pickoff. Yeah, and all of a sudden, we're in a similar position as we were last game, but this time the teams have changes. LC start with a 5-0 lead. Pretty surprising, all things considered. If we want to talk about that last game and how it ended. Back, yeah, pulling him into the call down. JoinDOTA not going to be hit by this second one. It does manage to get the good set of cogs. Fortunately, they're getting swapped by that. They actually just got hit like 4 different times by those cogs. Yeah. If they'd actually managed to pull him back far enough that the second call down hit as well, I think they kill him. Oh, for sure. But unfortunately, cog's too strong. Meanwhile, Aaron's actually cleaning up his stacks. Classic Tiny Wisp, especially on the dire side. I know that you're a Clockwork player. I know that you play the hero like really extensively. What do you really do in positions where you don't have the best early game start? You're not level 6. Do you just kind of have to sit in this bottom lane and wait things out? Yeah, I think you just have to fall back on the cog blocking that routinely brings the creep equilibrium to you and just focus on getting that level 6, right? Like, if you go for this Clockwork build that he does, and I like this build quite a bit because it ensures you can see his top lane. Limp is going to be blown up here as the Snowball Train 2-2 comes right through. Seal Kid now going to be caught, and the ultimate goes off. Nether Strike, make sure that Seal Kid, no escape. Yeah, and I love listening to London Conspiracy. I like this kind of land setting where I can just kind of hear everybody, and at bottom they do manage to get another kill 8-0, and as I was saying, they're just like they're going insane. Like every single time they get a kill, they're just like clapping and yelling, and it's great to see that type of energy, especially being able to bounce back after that first game. Is Hanskin's gonna get charged up again?
Yeah, seeing. Oh, Hanskin is going to be joining Era here. Nice snowball to be able to dodge that avalanche. Now runs right through him. They're going to go for Hanskin first, but Limp is here to be able to intercept. Saves Hanskin. They toss him back into Limp. Nice setup. The alley-oop. And Limp now looking for more after they got that one kill. He increased movement speed. Skylark.
Oh, that's done.
You cannot chase that Space Cow, man. He always gets away.
And he did that so well as he knocks back all three of them, surviving and also saving that Lina and that bottom as well. Madara manages to push out that tower, and he's going for that drums build, and this is being relatively untouched as the Disruptor begins to pick up levels on his own. Like, he's almost level 6 at 9 minutes into the game. That's really reasonable for this part.
Okay, so we talk about Gyrocopter's builds. They are a little... Well, no, hold on. We're going to see Aratai here. As they snowball in, are able to get right on top of Airy. Avalanches the two of them, but there is still enough nukes to finish him off. The double ultimates being utilized to make sure he does end up going down. And again, this tier 2 tower still taking pressure from Madara. But going back to my question, Gyrocopter, the difference between the Sage first and the drums. Obviously, both of them allow you to tank up a little bit more. The Sage giving you obviously a significant HP boost, while the drums obviously a lot more mobility. What is the difference between the two? What situations do you go for drums? What situations do you go for the Sage into SNY?
I think you go for the drums in games like this when you just want to continue to run at them. I think this is like LC Dota. It's like as close to CIS Dota as you can. Like, they just continue to run at the other team, and it seems like they aren't interested in stopping, and I think Madara's build completely reflects that. Like, I think the goal for them right now is just to continue to run at them and pick up whatever early game items you can in pursuit of that, as bottom tower is going to go down really early. Like, I think you go for the SNY if you anticipate being able to go to like a mid-game scenario, whereas...
No. Limp. He was just shy of that Blink Dagger. If he'd actually had the Blink Dagger in the position he was in, he could have potentially caught out the Gyrocopter and the Disruptor, but he was still being flown out from the Courier, so...
He needs that so badly right now. They need to be able to get some sort of kill. There is all three heroes right here. They know that there's no ward up there because, I mean, they've been capping this bottom area the entire time. They haven't seen anybody come in, and so they don't have to smoke to get aggressive or anything like that. As Madara, he's just going to leave Skakes to continue to farm out this lane as the Disruptor solo. Like, he doesn't really need the Gyrocopter to babysit him. And you don't want to smoke gank for just a Disruptor, right?
And the Static Storm is obviously a very potent factor against the Tiny Wisp, being able to lock down those two heroes. So getting that early level 6 is pretty critical. Top lane, they do make the jump on Madara right here. Yonatsupan is trying to throw out that hook shot, but Limp is actually potentially going to go down. It's called down. The right clicks are enough. Madara is still going to fight this one. Yonatsupan, oh no! He doesn't get the card block. Oh god! Triple kill for Madara as he is going to take over this game now.
That's a solo triple kill right now, and if things weren't bad just quite yet, the first Blink Dagger usage of Limp results in that as, I mean, that's why you go for that Aquila Wand drum spell. Like, it just gives you a lot of stats. They don't have burst damage on the side of NiP. The Clockwork isn't quite high enough in levels for them to be able to do too much to him. Like, if he had max battery assault, then I could potentially see them going for that, but he doesn't, and he's almost got that Sanj as well.
Oh, Tusk. I think this was... Oh, never mind. He actually went to the creeps. Oh, he's good. I thought he actually put that on Era.
Yeah, and he even goes for the ult check as he realizes the awkward position that he's in.
Oh, man. I thought for sure he actually used that on Era, but nice play with the snowball into the creeps.
I don't think NiP are going to be salty about that. I think that's some good humor.
Oh, there goes the ward. Immediately countered away. Steel Kid quick to deal with that one. Era still has a lot of stacks to be farming while the rest of his team is not doing so hot.
Hanskin doesn't get the haste.
Yeah, Hanskin is going to be glimpsed right back that tether. Nah, you're not getting out of that one. The call down to be able to finish him off. Now they're actually going to throw the snowball onto Era here. Smart didn't bring anybody with him, but he is going to slow up Era enough. They do have the charge from the Space Scout coming in. 2-man call in. He's going to be able to get a double dog potentially. Never mind the Static Storm to save 2. And Era still being chased by the Spirit Breaker. His time has come as the Icicle Shards block him out. Spirit Breaker coming in through as the Snowball as well. Bump 1, bump 2, knocked up in the air. Light Strike Array, and Era falls. Oh no, Seal Kid goes down as well. This is disastrous for Ninjas of Pyjamas, who are dropping now 16-1. to the favor of London Conspiracy. Such a dominant game 1 for Ninjas the Pyjamas, but London Conspiracy hitting back hard in game 2.
This is like the weirdest deja vu ever. It's just, we saw this in the last game, but role reversal is London Conspiracy. I mean, they're taking such a big snowball lead, and great play by Skanks. That should have been kind of a comeback for the Axes. He was able to call both of them and throw down the Storm on top. That should have been 2 quick, clean kills, and that could have been a 5-man wipe for NiP if he was able to get that. But just good, clean, precise play for London Conspiracy as they turn things around. And that's just, it's not even through a farm advantage, that's just through strong individual performances right now.
Absolutely. London Conspiracy looking very good here as we're talking about how the, such a tough game 1 kind of set this storyline of London Conspiracy potentially going out in a game 2, a clean 2-0 against Ninjas the Pyjamas, but they're showing they're not going to go down without a fight. Limp. Oh God, he does actually miss the call. Thug is going to be able to get away. Never mind, there goes the slow, and the hook shot to be able to make sure he goes down. The relocate coming in. Spartan trying to get the snowball off, does successfully get it, and will be able to bump a couple heroes. In fact, Limp may just go down the snowball left to side as it looks like he went for one of those TP targets out, and Spartan completely survives through that one. Excellent play by him, and Ninjas the Pyjamas lose 3 in what should have just been a clean Lena pickoff.
Yeah, nothing's really a clean pickoff for them anymore, as everybody from LC seem to have the right idea as they are grouping up every single time. They don't want to give the Tiny Wisp Axe combo any sort of room to be able to go for these clean pickoffs. And I mean, props to Madara right now. He's always in position with those 4 3-man call downs every single time.
Yeah. He certainly is, and the stat builds that he's got going on, he's not just going drums, he's going to go the S and Y next. He went for the Sage first. This is like heavy amounts of commitment to the early game, and it's working out quite well for him.
Yes, they do go for the smoke right now. It is a 4-man smoke. You know you're ahead when you don't even care if your Disruptor has full HP or full mana. They're just going to go ahead with this because they realize that this can only lead to successes. Era and Hanskin are in the jungle farming. Era doesn't quite have that Aghanim Scepter yet, and the Wisp doesn't have relocate at the same time, and they are making a move for top. Seal Kid is so dead.
Poor Seal Kid. Memories will live on. We'll remember Seal Kid. Relax.
Never forget. He does manage to get the ward down. Okay. Alright,
Never mind.
They just insulted him right there.
At least he got the ward down.
My bad, Seal Kid. I wanted to look at the bright side of
coming
things.
out from BlitzDOTA.
Alright, so they do manage to pick off the ward on top of Seal Kid, and I mean, things just continue to roll for LC as they have 10 times the amount of kills as NiP right now.
The funny thing is like Era is not badly farmed. Like he's got an Aghanim Scepter by 15 minutes. It's just when you look at him in comparison
Limp at bottom.
to the Gyrocopter. Oh, the relocate in. They're actually going to try and pop out right here, and they will be able to. Limp goes down last second of the call down. Spartan trying to get away. He does have a snowball ready to go, so he should survive through this. The relocate out. Oh, and left-hand side, Jonas Safan, not the place you want to be, my friend. He's going to have to pull out some serious cogs play, but that's not going to happen. The Light Strike array, follow up the Nether Strike, and Jonas Safan will end up going down here.
Yeah, but that was such a big trade right now as Era manages to pick up that godlike spree, and I want to see that fight recap. Okay, 1,200 gold going the way of NiP for Era off the back of that Gyrocopter kill as he comes to the last hit, and that's like one piece of the BKB already. Like he just finished his Aghanim Scepter for perspective, and he's got the Ogre Club and 500 gold on top of that already.
Do you agree with the BKB pickup for him as the next item?
Oh, definitely. You're not going to be able to survive otherwise. Like, the Lena won't have the Aghanim Scepter soon enough. Like, she just completed the Yule Scepter, so it's still going to be a pretty good pickup. It negates the damage of the Lena now, and the Disruptor, and the Gyrocopter. Like, the Gyrocopter heavily relies on that Rocket Barrage and the Call Down to be able to deal damage right now.
Yeah, if they went for some other greedier stat build on the Tiny, and they end up going into some sort of Static Storm play, the Tiny's locked out. Like, there goes the only gold that you have at this point. I mean, Lin, he's got 5k, but that just means a Blink Dagger on your axe. Everyone else is super underfarmed.
There's no reason not to get BKB in most games. Like, you're just protecting your investment, right? For how much gold is it? It's, I don't actually remember how BKB... 3,900 gold. For 3,900 gold, you're essentially protecting your 4,200 gold investment into the Aghanim Scepter, right? So you can actually deal damage.
Tier 1 tower going down. Madara going to continue this push in the mid lane. He is going to be trying to finish up his BKB, as you said. There's no reason not to go with BKB in most games. Protecting your investment indeed, and that's exactly what Madara wanted to do. With this stat build up, he's hoping to be able to never feed away that killing spree. Unfortunately, he did do it, but he's going to try and keep the rest of his death at a bare minimum with a BKB pickup against a lot of magic damage from NiP still.
Yeah, and it is 22-3, but just taking a look at the gold, it's not even 10k yet, and same with the experience. Like, that one kill really helped NiP out, as Arrow almost has a BKB completed as a result of that. So it is 22-3, but LC, they haven't gotten the best of objectives.
You just need to say the score a second time, right?
Oh yeah.
That's how professional you are. You're really making sure that everyone knows that it's 22-3 right now. I'm sure there's no reason that the chat would be very happy about that.
It's weird, like, how this game's just kind of mirrored.
It really is. Skylark is almost about to finish up his Shadow Blade, but, well, he'll get it after he dies, I suppose.
Yeah, and pickoff after pickoff is 4-22 now, and we don't have to make that joke anymore, as Era picks up the kill on that. And they should be able to get this top tower as a result. And there's only Roshan or the top tier 2 now for LC, but I don't really know how they're going to take Roshan with the lineup that they have. Like, I think that NiP should contest this. Like, 100% they should contest this.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good lineup to be able to contest between the initiators of the Clockwork as well as the Axe. Snowball actually going for it, but a two-man call coming in, crucial, as he managed to lock down two with the follow-up on the relocate. They are going to try and go for Madara. He does have Maldic. The dog may just be going down to that one, but it's still not enough damage. Limp ends up falling, and Era, as well as Hanskin, hoping to be able to now charge in against the Disruptor kinetic field. The relocate back, Era has been left stranded. Spartan, who a long time ago went for Unisafon, is going to be coming back straight to the arms of Era. But Madara is going to get vengeance for his allies. He fights up against Era, glimpse back, and now Era put in a position against the Lina. Might be able to get the kill first. Oh dear, maybe that's not the play Skanks wanted. Madara still going to be able to get the kill. Double kill for Era, triple for Madara, not to be outdone.
I don't even know if that glimpse was worth it, because I think Madara was going to catch up and kill him. I think all that happens is the Lina dies. But they don't have the lineup to Roshan, so I don't even know if you bother attempting this. Like, they just... the Gyrocopter isn't the best hero for it. He has no lifesteal, doesn't have enough damage as he does go for that stats build. Like, he's going to pick up a BKB. They have no way to do it.
Yeah.
They don't have any armor breaking as well. I think they just kind of give up on it and continue to farm out.
Yeah, that's one of the primary reasons you don't see drums and SNY too often, because usually there's a Helmet Dominator, and obviously if you look at the number of slots he's got already filled up, there's not much space for all three of those items in one inventory.
The Gyrocopter with the BKB, I think the objective now is to just push out the lanes and then go for the tier 2 at top. Like, you're not going to get the Roshan, but what they really have to be careful of is giving up the Roshan to NiP, because the Tiny could do it really easily, and he manages to complete his BKB now, so the fight should become so much easier for NiP, because the Gyrocopter can't get on top of your Tiny.
Hanskin, that's the Shadow Blade. Oh my god! That is some serious hate. They just wanted to be able to get that kill as soon as possible and get the hell out of Dodge, as Ninjas and Pyjamas were closing ranks to be able to try and get a return kill from the loss of Hanskin.
They want to get this mid kill at least.
Yeah, Spartan is going to be maybe a free pickoff as long as they're able to get the quick kill, but glimpse back and no ultimate. Spartan now going to be able to get up the snowball. He may still die to battle hunger, but it's going to take him some time. Charge in, and they are going to be able to bump onto Yoda Sapani. Is he going to die? Oh, she's not going to die at all. He gets away. The Glimmer came to help him get out. 3 deaths on the side of Ninjas and Pyjamas, and looks like one conspiracy. 5-man down middle, why not?
And Thug was looking for it. He at least wanted to force the BKB from Era out. That's a 10-second charge, and maybe they go for the Roshan now, as they do have the man advantage, but I think NiP just have to fight this. Like, they do have the BKB on the Tiny. There's not going to be a lot of opportunities for you to get into an ideal fight. Madara does have a double damage rune, so this might be a little bit difficult. They have to push out this mid lane first, and it looks like they're probably going to give this up. Like, they're trying to TP in, and they don't really have a lot of time. Like, the move has to be right now.
It has to be a hook shot to relocate as soon as possible. As soon as they're in range, they are going to be able to get the agents. Can London Conspiracy get out of the sticky situation? They're going to go straight for a snowball on Era, try and lock him down as soon as possible. The BKB goes off on both. The carries Madara now trying to deal with Limp first, as he did do their call, and now Era's left alone against Madara, and his right click damage is nowhere near enough to be able to threaten the carry, and will end up going down. 4 down from Ninjas, the Pyjamas, Yoda Sapon, the only survivor as his charge from the Spirit Breaker. It may have cost him his life, but it looks like it kept JoinDOTA from being able to get any sort of initiation through hookshot.
Yeah, and LC just completely mopped up there. The reason why I thought NiP had a fight is because the angle is still good for them, because they want LC to have to filter out of that Roshan pit, but they were just a little bit too late. And what should have been the best possible engagement that they were going to get, if you're going to fight LC in that open field where Thug just has space to maneuver and Madara can just kind of shoot that call down into that small hole, I mean, things just become so rough for NiP. This should mean Rax minimum right now for them.
Yeah, as well as the division playing a big factor. Oh, Sealkid actually dropping the ultimate. Madara says, oh, all right, you can throw that one down. I'll just quickly kill you with some right clicks. Left-hand side, they've already taken down the Disruptor. Looks like the Lina may fall as well. Self-Fuel Scepter, but the chop is still there. Limp, though, not going to be able to chop Madara down as he ended up going down to the flat cannon shots. Madara hoping to be able to get Hanskin before he dies, but unable to do so. Now it's going to be Hanskin and Era, but Skylark is actually going to even out this fight with the Nether Strike to be able to finish off the Wiz. JoinDOTA tries to bump him back with the cogs. They're locked inside this base, but maybe that's exactly where Madara wants to be. Never mind, pops the BKB, looking to be able to run himself into that melee Rax, and will be able to get it before he dies. JoinDOTA hoping to be able to pick up that kill with the extra help of the toss. They will be successful. That is 1,300 gold.
That's the second godlike spray that he's taken right now
God.
from that gyrocopter, and huge pickup for them is they do manage to force a lot of buybacks out of NiP, but still a successful fight as they manage to pick up the Rax. And LC is still in a commanding position as the gold lead is 14,000 and the experience lead is really similar as well.
Yeah, Era's done a pretty good job of keeping himself, somewhat in pace with the gyrocopter, but unfortunately, it is still the Lina and Spirit Breaker who are getting a large amount of farm, and with the Aghanims finished up soon on our Lina, as well as the Spirit Breaker being able to get the Silver Edge, which means you can actually take away the Tiny's armor. You've got pure damage, you've got no more craggy exterior, and you've still got a really tough gyrocopter to bite through. This Tiny just can't do it all alone.
I think Thug is about to pick up the most crucial item for him as well. He's going to get the Aghanim Scepter on this Lina, and they need it to burst down Era.
Yeah.
So what's happening right now
or potentially Hanskin as well.
I think Era might be the better target.
Yeah, simply because that BKB and being able to throw that pure damage through it.
You just want to force Era to be on low HP so he's running away instead of just actively fighting at full health.
Yeah. You know the reason why I said Hanskin, right?
Why?
I thought Lina was getting close to that level 3 Laguna Blade. Unfortunately, he's only level 13. That would be 950 pure damage. Look at Hanskin. Only 948 HP. Fortunately for him, it's only a level 2 Laguna Blade, so there's no one-shot factor.
He's all good, man.
And now we have a Scotty for Madara. Pure stats build. I actually really love this build. This is exactly what you saw from 6.83. A lot of SNYs into a lot of Scotties because everyone wanted stats.
This is the mid-game build. This is the build that you want to go, and you hope that the game doesn't go late. Because right now, the Tiny is just entirely building towards the late game. And if it does go to the late game, Madara just won't do enough damage.
Yeah, you're going to start getting some mitigating returns if this game goes much later, because you're going to have to sell drums, sell SNY, and in order to get those bigger late game items.
Yeah, the Scotty might be the only thing that you really want to keep aside from the BKB.
Right.
And even then, it's not an ideal damage dealing item. It's just kind of to keep you alive.
Basically means that net worth lead that our gyrocopter currently has, that kind of all goes into the garbage once he's forced to sell items and buy newer ones.
The Limp is about to pick up his BKB at the same time, and Tiny's going for an Assault Curse, and he almost has it. He's really close to it. He's 600 gold away from it, I believe.
How important is the Assault Curse? Is it more important than buyback?
I think it depends. If your entire team is buyback, then you save for the buyback, but if they don't, then you might as well.
Right.
There's no reason not to. If you're the only thing keeping the game together, then I think you just go all in for the Assault Curse and hope that that one fight goes incredibly well.
Tier 1 tower is going to be taken away by Ninjas of Pyjamas. Pretty much they're hoping to be able to get whatever pickoffs they can before this last team fight inside the base. Now, London Conspiracy looking to be able to take that second lane of Rax here, focusing on the Tier 3 at top. We do have the relocate ready to go from Hanskin and Air. In the meantime, they're going to go for this Tier 2 at top lane. They're just hoping their allies can actually either set up a brilliant fight for them to relocate into, or possibly be enough to force London Conspiracy back. You can see London Conspiracy are backing themselves away, but look what's happening. Skylar coming in with that Shadow Blade is hoping to be able to get the pick off on both Hanskin as well as Aaron. If Aaron doesn't get away soon, the relocate goes out, but there goes the charge to stop it. And now Era completely stranded here in the bottom lane, where Madara and Skylark will beat him to a pulp. He tried to go for the pickoff on Skanks, but it just wasn't quite enough damage. London Conspiracy, most of the time when you see that situation, you do the quick all-in to top lane to force the team fight, but instead London Conspiracy, thinking a little bit more outside the box, go to pick off the Tiny as well as the Wisp, and are now pretty much free to go uphill right away. Seal Kid going to be the target of Skylark here. Instant bash and the right click as well. Jesus, that is just way too much damage.
That's so much damage. He just kind of went down in 2 hits. And,
yep.
That was the best possible move, I think, for London Conspiracy, because they don't have to all in for that tower, but picking off the Tiny and the Wisp and stopping the split push is really crucial to keeping this game going for NiP. Like, if they were able to take down that tier 2 unopposed, and then, you know, they can pressure down that tier 3 at bottom, then LC, whatever they do, is probably going to be an inefficient trade. But by doubling down and going for both of those kills, and they managed to pick down the Witch Doctor, like, they can just go for this bottom tower, and they lose nothing now.
London Conspiracy chewing through that tier 3 pretty quickly, but are going to start backing themselves away. We've got Roshan up in about 4 or 5 more minutes, depending on how late he is.
I think you wait for the Roshan, because the Gyrocopter doesn't have a high ground build. The main reason why LC are able to go high ground is just because they've got such a dominant position in terms of gold, but they don't actually have the best high ground team.
Right.
Like, you don't want the Lina in a position to right click the tower. The Gyrocopter doesn't actually do too much damage. So I think the better thing right now for London Conspiracy is wait for the Roshan.
The new break mechanic, it does apply to Axe's counter helix, correct? Or no? Or
I believe so. I'd imagine it does.
Just something. The new break mechanic, it's kind of hard to... It's pretty much almost every single passive out there.
The Madara just continues to farm out this Ancients, and the Roshan is going to spawn at a reasonable time, I think? I'm not sure about that.
I haven't seen the timer, but we do have the potential timer about to finish up, so Roshan can spawn at about 15 seconds, though I haven't seen when he is exactly going to spawn. So we'll see if it's an early Roshan or a late Roshan. Obviously, the London Conspiracy would prefer an early one. They don't want to let this game go too late, as this Tiny is going to be a significant factor with the Assault Cuirass that is coming in soon with the buyback.
Yeah, there was a line drawn up here. Like, he just straight up drew a line going like this. That's my artist representation. And our top lane, they're pushing it out right now, and London Conspiracy, they don't want to go for a straight 1-for-1 trade here, but they will if they have to. And the Spirit Breaker immediately TPs back to make sure that they can get the pick off at the same time.
Yeah, sure enough, Hanskin's going to be the first target with the Nether Strike, almost enough to finish him off by itself. Hanskin will end up going down, and Eric's now going to be forced to TP back to lane. Now Madara is fighting up against the rest of the ninjas of Pyjamas with the TP in. Limp is actually trying to battle it out, but through the BKB, Era will join him. But without the Wisp, he really just does not have the physical damage to threaten Madara in any way. That's why Madara continues to marching in. They do have the buyback, and with that, Madara says, okay, you buy back. There's no need for me to continue this push. Or maybe there is. He starts going for units of fun, but there's the Glimmer Cape. And the charge coming in. Era's going to be the target. He doesn't realize it, though. He pops the BKB, but immediately bumped back by Skylark with the slowdown of the Scotty as well. Era is not getting away from this one anytime soon. Right click down, and that is going to be forced to be its BKB. Potentially someone get the right click. Oh, God! Era taking down through the urn is going to go down eventually here as the calldown comes into play. Locking down units of fun. Buyback from Era. Now kicking in with the Wisp as well. Can they clean up the 4 heroes of London Conspiracy? We're all sitting about half HP. Relocate behind them. They're going to go straight for Spartan first, clean up the Disruptor as well. They get 2, but can they get 3 or 4? They already sent back Era, so he will be happy to sit inside that fountain. But Moderate cleans up Hanskin nice and quick, now back themselves away. Worth the buyback? Not quite so sure. They didn't get enough to really upset the course of this game. London Conspiracy still sitting in a very dominant position. As you can see, they're even feeling comfortable enough to go in and get a pick off on Seal Kid, leading with the Yule Scepter, Light Strike array, a couple of right clicks, makes it look easy. Now, They have to buy back on Hanskin because Era needs some help. He's fighting up against Madara, but he's just not doing any damage. With the Light Strike Array already landing on Era, slowing him up even more with the cooldown coming into play as well. Era slowed down to a crawl as he's trying to catch up the Thug. Now the Light Strike Array. And it looks like clean extraction there from London Conspiracies. They force yet another buyback. In fact, they've lost their range tracks.
Exactly, that's what I was going to point out. And they use so many buybacks just to be able to hold the base. And Madara, I didn't even realize, but he's 3 kills away from 30 right now.
Damn, that's got to be some records, right?
Is that most in this tournament so far? I think Sumel had 28. I'm not entirely sure, though.
I'm sure Madara's going to be a record breaker here in this game number 2 between London Conspiracy and Ninjas in Pyjamas. We do have some items that we probably haven't talked about just yet. So the Glimmer Cape on Disruptor going in for the Aghanim Scepter up next. We still have that Silver's Edge on Spirit Breaker, and he's going to be gunning for a next item, but that's after he's done going through kill after kill. Starts charging Limp, but doesn't complete. What else do we have? The Blink Dagger on the Lina with now the level 3 Laguna Blade kicking into play.
Satanic on the Gyrocopter, I'm not sure if you mentioned that, with the Moonstone.
And that's going to be pretty sick. As we said, he's going to have to start selling some of those items and replacing them with larger items. That's exactly what he's doing. So he can now go for Butterfly, MKB. World is kind of his oyster at this point in time. Look at Skylark's positioning here. He's here to intercept anyone from Ninjas in Pyjamas who are trying to threaten this rush on the 10th lane. He's going to go for the BKB, blinked over to the side. Not sure what that was. Meanwhile, Eric comes in from behind with the relocate, looking to be able to lock down someone. Unfortunately, he's just slowed down so significantly. The call down, plus down the Light Strike Array, and the Scotty as well. Eric just can't get on top of anybody. Jonas the Fun, jump skanks will be able to finish him off, it looks like, but it's still Madara's game as he is going to be able to right click down the last carry of Ninjas in Pyjamas. Jonas the Fun gets away, but to what avail? Sure enough, it's GG well played. 53 to 15 in 34 minutes. London Conspiracy with just as much of a dominant game 2 as NiP had in game 1.
It seems that they listened to us when we were talking to them, and they just completely forgot about that last game. They have such an overwhelming performance in this game number 2, and let's give it away to our analysts so they have something to talk about.
Absolutely, let's.